Persona 3 is a great game. Persona's just a series that has overall clicked with me. Pretty much everything they put out, I find some kind of value in it, one way or the other. Persona 3 Portable is no exception to that. Now, I've never played Persona 3 to its completion. I have played a little bit, emphasis on a little bit of Fez. But today, I want to talk about my impressions with Persona 3 Portable, the recent port that has recently been released, and let's get into it. Story-wise, it's a very atmospherically dark game, and I knew that going in. Death is the forefront theme, throughout which it creates a nice contrast from the likes of Persona 4 and Persona 5, and I like having each game have their own identity. It makes them feel different to one another and helps reinforce the idea that it's a product that exists as part of the series that still stands on its own. Persona 3, 4, and 5 all feel like Persona, but they all feel different, have their own unique identity and tone to them, and I do appreciate that with the series. I think people could argue that there are aspects of P5 that are the darkest in the series. Let's be honest, that intro with Joker getting tortured, pretty high up there. But I think overall, P3 just tends to deal with very dark themes and heavy themes, especially when it comes to death and trauma. It has a massive focus on those two umbrella terms so far, from which all the other individual stories emerge for P3. The actual plot, though, is very slow-moving, including where I'm at right now, which is about the start of June, about 20-ish hours in. I just got Fuka. I'm actually on June 9th, if I recall. Take a random guess how I remember that date. I'm about 20 hours in because I did a bit of grinding, because, the second block of Tartarus hit me like a freaking hurricane. Well, the Scorpion song, rocked me like a hurricane. So your boy had to put that work in. I know Persona 3's overall main narrative picks up around the summertime and then just goes into overdrive. Like I said, I may have not played P3 before all that much, but I have watched playthroughs of it. And while I'm still a bit fuzzy on a lot of the details of it, I know generally where the plot has to go. And yeah, I know I'm in for a wild ride once we get there. And that the actual narrative is very compelling. It's just a slow burn, and honestly, I don't mind that for right now. And I think the social links overall have been kind of hit or miss, but they've also been carrying the story aspect of this game for me as well. The general rule of thumb is that the social links will all deal with a trauma or a death in some way, and they can go from being very wholesome and heartwarming to really sad and depressing with the snap of your fingers. I think a particular standout for me right now is the old couple that run the bookstore. I think the names are Bunkichi and Mitsuru. I think I may have messed up her name, but they're very sweet. And then the story will just transition from helping Bunkichi find his keys or something to, oh yeah, their son died in a car accident, didn't he? And then the story just gets really sad from there. It's like, oh yeah, this is P3. It's really bittersweet, and I haven't even gotten to my favorite social link yet, which is the son. And that social link might be my favorite in the entire series. But overall, I do think that the social links themselves do a lot of the heavy lifting for the story, especially for the beginning of P3, where the main narrative's a bit sparse. Some I hit or miss, some I just don't care about, while others are really interesting, consisting of a wide cast of characters with varying different personalities. I think the ones that I don't really care about all that much right now are like Kenji. I want to do some more with the track club, but I've been prioritizing other characters like Chihiro and Bebe. I've been doing the MMO social link mainly because I love MMOs pretty much every Sunday, and that's probably the social link I, funnily enough, have the most progress in, despite the fact it's the one least available. And that one's just weird. Like, do I really need to elaborate it? If you know, you know. And if you don't know, probably okay. I will say, the freaking late 2000s internet leet speak that Maya uses in that social link is like opening one of those doors from the old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And just having this flood of memories come back to me of watching like Halo 3 Machinima for hours on end. I feel like I'm back in a card lobby or something. Or I'm walking the halls of Falador and RuneScape. But there is one aspect of the social links in P3 that I feel is particularly interesting, and that's how you can unlock social links by doing other social links as well. And I'm only about 20 hours in, and I've already got quite a few social links. Like, it's honestly a little bit overwhelming. I can see why they probably cut down on it a little bit going forward, because juggling all of them has been a scheduling nightmare, but that is also one of the charms of Persona. Pursuing the social links you want and care about first and foremost, and maybe prioritizing the ones that are least available. while also grinding out those social stats. I believe there's 3 with P3. There's your charm, your guts, or whatever they call it in this game, and then your academics. And I just did the Fuka bit in the main story, and I really liked how they executed upon that, where you were by yourself for a little bit, had to maneuver your way through Tartarus, being mindful of the fact you don't have any of your party members right now. Meet up with them, you have a boss fight. Boss fights are kind of here or there so far. Nothing that's blown me out of the water. But this boss fight probably was the most interesting one that I've faced so far, mainly because it could swap what its affinities were, which is at least an interesting mechanic, or at least a mechanic. Yeah, one of the things I'm most looking forward to with this game is getting into the social links for the members of C's. I don't think I have any of them available right now. I think I could have started Mitsuru's, but I guess I would have to do that on New Game Plus because I need Genius Academics for that, which I don't have that right now, apparently. I think your boy's only above average, which, you know, rip. But I don't think Junpei, Yukari, or Akihiko have had social links yet. I'm assuming they come at some point. But I think fleshing out those characters and giving them interesting backstories and exploring what led them to the current moment and the current present being in C's will be a very interesting thing to find out, because the social links for P3 is always something that I have the least experience in. I know a lot of what has to happen in the main narrative, but the social links I don't know all that much about. I know a couple of things. Like I said, I know the Sun social link particularly, but that's kind of the extent of it. Also, like one scene for Mitsuru that I think I remember, but it's still fuzzy. But let's transition over to the combat right now. Combat is very similar to P4 for me. Very, very similar. Which is fun because I like P4's combat. I feel P4 Golden especially has a really fun but simplistic combat loop that is very much emphasizing that Pokemon super effective and least effective formula, where you want a good elemental spread, you want to have various elements and ways to defend against elements that you're weak to. I'm so thankful here's my thing. Whenever I'm doing the overworld or the main story, I wish I was playing Fez for the cutscenes and for regular scenes in the overworld not being just a visual novel. But then when you get into any combat scenario, I'm so thankful I'm playing P3P. Being able to control the party members is such a breath of relief. Even after the little bit of Fez that I've played. Oh my god. I know you can make it work with Fez, but I just prefer being able to control my party members to do what I want when I want. I think Tartarus has some interesting mechanics to it. I like the verticality you get in certain rooms with being able to go up high on a little hill. Try and maneuver your way around shadows to get behind them, to get player advantage and not to get hit, while be on the lookout for wealth hands and stuff like that. Rare chests can spawn. It's very simplistic and it's just a labyrinth, and discovering where the exits are. And maybe once I get 100 hours into this, Tartarus itself will get kind of repetitive. But so far, the simple act of getting better and better personas, fighting better and better and stronger mobs, leveling up my characters, getting better equipment for them, completing Elizabeth quests, and beating all the mini-bosses has been pretty interesting so far. It's probably my least favorite dungeon crawling overall experience of Persona, considering I'm only talking about P3, P4, and P5. P4 is also pretty much a corridor simulator, but it had various different aesthetics to it, which always kept my focus. And I will admit, finding what the new aesthetic is for each of these blocks in Tartarus is pretty nice. And not knowing what floor you need to get to max out the full moon cycle in P3 can raise the tension quite a bit. Also, right before we end, I will say this: thank God P3 Portable doesn't have your party members just leave you the second they get tired. Thank God. It just lets me be able to be in Tartarus for as long as I want. There's still some management to be done with the state of your party members, because if they're tired, healing spells will be less effective. Okay, I can put up with that. But just losing them straight up and almost being kind of told by the game, no, you cannot progress anymore tonight in Tartarus, go on to the next day. Kind of annoying, but that doesn't happen with Portable. Or I just haven't gotten to a point like that yet. That's possible. I don't think it is. But so far, like I said, and I talked about this in the video a couple days ago, about whether or not Persona 3 needs a remake. In combat, I'm so thankful that I'm playing Persona 3 Portable. In the overworld, I really wish we had the fully blown animated cutscenes of Fez. But I think there is something to be said about the little things that have been taken out of the Persona series, or at least streamlined with each iteration, that is still there with Persona 3. Like having 3 different archetypes of melee. You have 2 in Persona 5 because they introduced gun, but I think there's something to be said about having a more fleshed out melee and physical system outside of just having a whole bunch of magic and then just physical. That makes it pretty compelling because there are different types of melee characters, there are different types of melee spells that you can acquire and stock up on. I feel like this is a system that could be really fleshed out and expanded on, and I feel they realized that too after P4, which is why they brought gun in with P5, and I feel like that's a step in the right direction. But yeah, P3 so far has been essentially them throwing a whole bunch of plates at you and asking you to spin all of them, with managing all your social links, your social stats, going into Tartarus, managing all those stats, all those personas, the Elizabeth requests, your SP, your HP, your items, and it's really enjoyable so far. I love Persona, and P3P is still a really good Persona experience for me. I'm enjoying the story of what's there so far. I'm enjoying the social links for the most part. The combat is very fun, and I'm interested in playing some more. So I'm going to call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe with everybody. Have a great day. Leave a comment down below with your own thoughts on Persona 3 Portable. Are you playing it? Are you not playing it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions. Stay safe with everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.